All right, welcome back to Plain Sports Podcast, episode 5, I believe. Brum's not here this time around, but we got Brandon, Jerry's back, and Jasai is our friend. He's going to help us out here today. We're going to do a mock draft for whole first round. We'll be alternating picks, no trades, so don't expect anything crazy happening, but we will be going through the full 32 for picks in the first round. Just let us know what you think, and as always, make sure to like and leave a comment if you think that we make some ridiculous decisions or if you agree with what we're doing. Let me share my screen with everyone real quick so we can see the order that we'll be going in, and we'll just start from there. All right. So as long as everyone can see that, obvious. So I've got the first pick, and I'm just going to go with the obvious here. There's no reason to try to do anything crazy. Trevor Lawrence, first number 1 overall pick to the Jags. I think almost everyone can agree there. Brandon, you want to go ahead and go number 2?
I think it's another one that everybody's going to agree on. Zach Wilson out of BYU helping the Jets there.
Yeah, I don't think that changes. It would be weird if they did Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Those guys are in
if they do, the 49ers are going to be sitting pretty.
Oh, yeah. Jerry,
Speaking of the Niners, Jerry, who do you have at 3?
This is the first pick that's like the one that we don't know, but I have Justin Fields going here. I think the 49ers gave up too much to pick Mac at 3.
What makes you think Justin Fields? Everyone seems like Mac is just
is it Kyle worked with Justin Fields in the quarterback collective when he was in high school. I think Kyle wants to go to a mobile quarterback. He's done with the statue quarterbacks. Fields, I think he's the best besides Wilson and Lawrence.
No Trey Lance though. Hasn't he been working with both of them recently?
I don't think we trust Trey Lance. Trey Lance is weird. He's the most. I think Shannon has to make somewhat of a safe pick because if they don't make a good pick here, he's going to be leaving.
Fair enough. Jasai, Atlanta Falcons. Who are they taking?
I don't think you pass up on the safest pick in the draft. I think the Falcons will go Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell. I completely agree there. Right before we started, I was telling Brandon that might make the most sense for them. They have a need almost everywhere on the field other than wide receiver. They're probably the most stacked receiving room in the NFL. So I 100% agree there. What do you guys think, Jerry and Brandon?
I think Jerry and I both agree that 4 is going to be Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I'm going.
But I can see Sewell being the move. I mean, he makes a lot of sense there as well. And like Jasai said, I do agree with him on him being the safest pick in the draft.
Yeah,
it's not a lot of – I just don't see there's any way that Penei Sewell is busts. He's got everything that he needs to be a really, really good NFL offensive lineman for a long time.
Yeah, and I think in reality, this is probably going to be a pick that will get traded. Obviously, with their no trade rule, we're not going to do that. But it seems like the Falcons aren't too – they're not too happy about picking at 4. They'd much rather have a little bit more.
In order for a trade-up, though, someone's going to have to love – it's gonna be a quarterback. I mean, I think we'd all agree, but someone's going to have to, Chicago or Carolina or somebody's going to have to absolutely love, a Trey Lance type or Mac Jones, or it could be Fields in real life. Who knows? Whoever's left on the board, they're going to have to love them enough to, move up and then probably trade back another second.
Yeah, and it might even be the Bears. Those guys are so desperate for a quarterback, and they're known for making stupid draft day moves just to get the QB that they need. Flashbacks to Trubisky, but I guess we'll see what happens at 4. With the number 5 pick, that's me. I think with Penei Sewell off the board, it's just obvious that they're going to obviously take a weapon. I'm between Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase. I would take Kyle Pitts just because everyone seems to think that he's the best prospect in this entire draft, but I think they're going to ultimately go Jamar Chase since they have that LSU connection with Joe Burrow and Chase.
Is Trevor Lawrence not considered the best prospect in this entire draft?
I've seen some people think that Kyle Pitts.
It's Penei.
I mean, Penei Sewell, I've not seen Penei Sewell one time be the top prospect in the draft, but I don't know. We'll see. Jamar Chase, I think at 5, like you said, makes a lot of sense. Obviously, what they did together in college was pretty storybook. They had one of the best college teams ever made, and he was his go-to guy. So it makes a whole lot of sense to pair him back up. I believe it's me at 6, right?
Right.
With Chase gone, that's who I was going to go with. I'm going to take the guy you didn't take, and that's Kyle Pitts to the Dolphins there. I think that makes a lot of sense too. No matter which way, how the board shakes up, I think in real life, if Atlanta takes Pitts in real life and Chase goes 5 to the Bengals, I think this is the spot where Miami trades back because I think those are the two guys that they really like. But obviously in our no trade and Pitts on the board, I think Pitts makes a lot of sense. He's a guy that I think can play receiver, tight end, and just another weapon for Tua.
Definitely. All right, Jerry, Detroit Lions. Who are they selecting here at the 7 spot?
In this one, I see Waddle going here. Just because they just got Goff. He has a fat contract. You have to at least rock with him for 1 year, I feel like. But real life, this 7-8 area, I think there's gonna be a trade up. But for this, I got Waddle.
So you think Waddle over Smith, despite the injury concerns and things like that?
Yeah, I think Waddle's gonna be some sort of Tyreek-ish kind of player.
Yeah, and it seems
he was better than Smith before Smith got hurt.
That's what they say, but the injuries are real, and Waddle couldn't even play in the title game, or he tried, but I think it was a dumb play on his part to try and play in that game, just because he is a first round talent and he was hobbling around. But I mean, he played, stuck it out. The only thing because I do agree Waddle being better than Smith, but the injury concerns I think are real.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Jasai, number 8, Carolina Panthers are going with.
At 8, I will have to. Jerry took Waddle off the board, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with his other pairing partner, Devonta Smith.
Right.
I had Waddle at 8. But I will take Devonta Smith at 8.
Yeah, I think those guys are. It just depends on the team and where they have them on the draft board. Teams like
right now. It surprised me there about the size pick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that. Or go ahead, Brandon.
My bad, man. I think if the draft shakes out the way we have it and Waddle goes 7 to Detroit, at 8 if you're Carolina, I do like Devonta Smith. I think it's a good pick. I think it's a safe
pick. I was
pick.
torn between him and Patrick Surtain. That's where
I was thinking it'd be more like a Trey Lance type. I don't know if they're necessarily sold on Teddy. I mean, he's not their quarterback.
They just got Sam Darnold.
They just got Sam Darnold.
Oh, they did get Sam Darnold. I kind of forgot about the Darnold move.
Yeah.
I guess, then I hear you. Then Smith makes a lot of sense. Good call. Yeah. Good call.
I was torn between either a corner or Waddle or Smith.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you guys were saying when Jerry made the Waddle pick, it seems like there's concerns with both receivers. Waddle with his injury history, and Smith, everyone expects that he's not going to be great because of his weight. He's so small. Yeah, and being hurt in the past, but I don't know. We'll see what happens there. And I agree. I think that's a good pick with how our draft board's shaking up right now. For the Denver Broncos, I'm going to take the first defensive player in Micah Parsons. I think this guy is probably going to be the best defensive prospect in this year's draft. I don't really think that the Broncos need a quarterback, especially if they're picking out of Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Drew Lock is good enough, at least just as good as those two guys. They got Jerry Jeudy last year. They're getting back Cortland Sutton. They have Noah Fant. Their offensive line is good. Maybe they can improve that in the later rounds, but I think they need to beef up their defense so that they can be back to that Super Bowl defense that won versus Carolina all those years ago. Jerry, Dallas Cowboys at number 10. What do you got?
With Parsons just not going, I have you have to take the best next defense player in Patrick Surtain. The Cowboys' offense is already strong. The defense is really just where they're weak at, so they have to just improve with the best player available. And I think Surtain's the best defense one with Parsons off the board.
Definitely. And I think right now there's a lot of speculation on who will be the first corner off the board, but I think to me, it seems like it's just a certainty that's going to be Surtain. But I know there's been some speculation with like the NFL Network, ESPN, that it might be J.C. Horn, just because some people, or Caleb Farley, because of people expect them to have higher ceilings.
Yeah.
All All right. 11, New York Giants. Brandon?
So this one, I think, the Giants have a lot of holes to fill, and I think it's going to be another defensive player here. I think it's going to be one of the three best available pass rushers, whether that's Greg Rousseau, Jalen Phillips, or Kwity Paye from Michigan. I think it's going to end up being Greg Rousseau, the edge rusher from Miami. I think he fills the need of being able to get after the quarterback for them. Like I said, they have a lot of needs, but I think he's probably, with Parsons gone, Pat Surtain gone, I think it's one of those three, and I think probably Rousseau is the next best defensive player in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, this year's not full of like top end defensive prospects. They're good. I mean, no disrespect to them, but it seems like in years past we've obviously had Chase Young, Nick Bosa, both the Bosa brothers, or some outstanding defensive player that could challenge these three quarterbacks that we have going top three.
Rousseau I think he only played 13 games last year when we're looking at here in the stat sheet, and he had 19 and a half tackles for loss and 15 and a half sacks. I mean, that's disruptive.
Yeah.
That's the guy that, he can bolster that defense for sure.
Definitely. Jasai with the number 12 overall pick, the Eagles take.
I think I have Philly taking Rashawn Slater.
Dang it.
I think they're sold with Jalen being the starting quarterback for the next year at least. And they definitely need a tackle. They need to bolster up that offensive line in general.
Yeah, that offensive line just seems to get hurt. Really, the entire Eagles.
It's injury prone.
Is hurt all the time. So I think you really can't go wrong with any pick at the Eagles. I think you're right with Jalen Hurts being at least their quarterback for 1 year to see what they got. But
and at 12, I feel like that's really good value. I think Slater's got to be the next best offensive line player outside of Sewell, right? Do we all agree on that?
Yeah. All right. Brandon, the Chargers. Who do we got at 13?
13 for the Chargers. See, I was going to go with a Rashawn Slater. Then thanks, Jasai.
Yeah, I think Rashawn Slater would have gone really in any of the next picks, and he just kind of made us change our plans here.
You look at the Chargers, they're another team I think has a whole lot of needs. Obviously, they don't do quarterback. Pretty loaded there. This is a pick where I think in real life, if it plays out again, I think the Chargers probably might trade out because in our mock draft, we still have two pretty good quarterbacks on the board, and you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be easier for like a Bears or a football team to get up to 13 rather than 4.
Definitely have that, that ability. With the Chargers here, I don't really know a whole lot of where to go here. I think they might end up taking, the best available defensive player again, and I'll probably take Phillips from Miami.
Oh,
pair him with Joey Bosa over there. Get after the pass rushers.
Yeah,
the quarterbacks.
I think that's probably the best pick, and with how our draft board pick is lining up, probably where realistically they may even go. Melvin Ingram. I don't remember if he ever signed his extension last year, but I know that was an issue last year, and bringing someone in that could replace Melvin Ingram in the near future is probably
gives them some flexibility and things like that. Yeah,
definitely. All right, so my Minnesota Vikings are I think they're definitely going to take a defensive player, even though we need an offensive lineman because our line is just complete butt. I think we end up taking Kwity Paye out of Michigan.
I was going to say the same.
We have a great pass rush right now with Danielle Hunter and Michael Pierce, and then we added Dalvin Tomlinson, so we're going to be able to stop the run down the middle with both those big boys right in the center. But we're going to need someone to pair with Danielle Hunter on the other side of the ball. So Kwity Paye is my pick here. All right, Jerry, the Patriots, who's built
with how
this year.
With how our draft board's going, since there's no trades, I think the Patriots would be stupid to just pass up on Lance right here with Cam being old and not as good as he used to be. They just have to try to go with Lance and make him good.
I disagree. I disagree.
Well,
Mac Jones is still on the board. Like, with the way our board is played out, I don't see them passing Mac Jones.
It's gonna be Lance or Mac Jones, and I probably side with Josiah. I think it's gonna end up being if it shakes out like this, I feel like it'd be Mac Jones too. I feel like he's more of the Patriot, the way the system.
It's
obviously got Cam Newton.
Cam Newton's not the normal system.
I know. I was gonna say he's not their normal way, but it's not working out.
He was hurt.
Mac Jones is more established than because the Patriots just dumped off a whole lot of money in free agency. They're not looking for a project quarterback. And Mac Jones is more established. So if he's still available, I do see the Patriots taking him.
I think they're both project quarterbacks at this point, but
I'm going to side with Jerry. They have to play Cam with re-signing him. He had a pretty good contract. They had to play him this year at least.
And if someone's going to evolve under Cam Newton, it's going to be Trey Lance. Similar play styles. Trey Lance just probably has a better arm than Cam at this point because Cam doesn't seem to figure out how to throw the ball in the NFL since his MVP year.
I think we all agree quarterback there, though, especially with the way it shakes out here.
Oh, yeah. So at 16, the Cardinals are taking.
Cardinals are taking Caleb Farley.
No, he's falling out of the first. Injury concerns for him are worse than Waddle right now.
Over Horn?
Is Horn not?
Horn's still on the board.
Horn is still on the board here.
Oh, I thought Horn was taken. Yeah, I got J.C. Horn. I thought Horn was off the board.
J.C. Horn going to the Cardinals.
Yeah, I have J.C. Horn.
Yeah, that makes complete sense, and that's a steal.
It makes sense, but I kind of saw the Cardinals going on offensive line too. They've got Kyler Murray, and he saved their offensive line a lot of times just with his athleticism and his way to avoid sacks and get out of bad situations. But, like a Vera Tucker out of USC or something like that is why I see them going there. But I do like the Horn pick.
Yeah, and they just lost.
Horn was on the board.
They just lost Patrick Peterson. And I mean, they have Byron Murphy, who's a good young talent. So they definitely need another corner over there to make sure that Buda's not having to cover, 3/4 of the field. But yeah, no, JC is definitely a steal. And I think that's a good idea there. So with 17, the Raiders, these guys need a lot of shit too. Their wide receivers aren't great. They pretty much scrapped their entire offensive line for some reason. So I'm going to go with the big boys in the middle. I'm going to go with Christian Darrisaw. He's going to be a tackle. He's a tackle right now. I'm sure they're going to keep him at tackle in the NFL unless they somehow pick up someone that could replace him and move him to guard. But I think Christian Darrisaw is the only thing, or not just any offensive lineman, but I think Christian Darrisaw is the best available at this point. Yeah. All right, Brandon. The Dolphins' second pick in the first round.
Pick at 18 for the Dolphins. This is a fun one. I see it going. This is a spot where I can see Najee Harris going off the board. Miami needs a running back, and I think we like him a lot. They've had multiple draft meetings with him, talked to him a whole lot. I just don't see it happening at 18. I think they like that kid out of North Carolina, Williams, a lot as well too, and I think he's a second round grade you can get. So I think Miami takes the best available player here, in my opinion, who's still left on the board. A guy who can kind of do it all on defense, pass rush, drop back and coverage, linebacker. I think they take Zaven Collins out of Tulsa.
Local boy.
Ouch.
Ouch. I think Collins to Miami makes a lot of sense just because he, like I said, he can do a lot of different things on the defense.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Isaiah Simmons of this year's draft, someone that that can cover the whole field if need be.
I think he's fantastic. I think that would be a great value at 18.
Definitely.
Dang it.
All right. Moving on to 19, Jerry. Who does a football team take in the 2021 draft?
Football team has a solid defense, great D-line. I don't really know much about their corners, but there's not much great corner talent right now with Caleb Farley being questionable with a bunch of injuries. I think they just have to upgrade their line and go best available with Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC.
Protect, fix, magic.
Yeah. I mean, they already have offensive talent over there with Terry, and they just signed Curtis and Antonio Gibson, so they just have to protect Fitz.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think the football team isn't too concerned about a quarterback. I mean, Heineke almost beat the Buccaneers last year.
Yeah, he's not bad, but I mean, this is a spot if it shakes out exactly how we still have Mac Jones on the board here, and we're at pick 20 now. Mm-hmm. I thought Jerry might have went Mac Jones to the football team there, just because obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick is not the future. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is a great player. I love him, but he's like 40 years old.
Hey, maybe
I can see Mac making sense there, but I do like the Vera Tucker pick.
Definitely, and maybe they're looking up to next year. Maybe they're expecting Spencer Rattler to come out of Oklahoma and and trading up to wherever they need to get Spencer to the football team.
That, or maybe they like a Kyle Trask or something, who a lot of people had him as a first round pick, and he kind of fallen off a little bit, but in the third or fourth, that could be a good value pick for them there as well.
Yeah, I mean the NFL draft is 7 rounds long, so you don't have to take your quarterback of the future in the first round if you feel you can take him in the third or fourth round. All right. So 20, Jasai, who do the Bears take in this year's draft?
Somehow Mac Jones is still on the board. So even though I do see the Bears trading up in the draft, with our no trade, Mac Jones has fallen. So I do see Mac Jones going 20 to Chicago.
That makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah, for sure. They're quarterback desperate. They were pretty much in every quarterback trade rumor this year. So if they don't take a quarterback in the first round, it would be very surprising. All right. So Indianapolis, the Colts are in need of an offensive lineman. I think overall, really as long as they can protect the quarterback, they're fine. They have one of the best lines. They had one of the best lines last year, but Costanzo retired. So with that, I'm going to take Creed Humphrey with the 21 overall pick.
Oh, I love it.
Even though they need a tackle, I think they were going to be able to move someone and just put Creed in at his natural center position or move him over to guard, that they can keep their high graded offensive line.
I think Creed's our only chance of having a first round pick, and I'd love to see it happen, especially the Colts would be a good fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna grab my laptop charger, but Jerry, who do the Tennessee Titans take in this year's draft?
The Titans just lost the bust Isaiah Wilson at tackle, so they have to go take the best tackle available to replace him because Wilson was supposed to be his future, but he's stupid. So I think they're going to take Tevin Jenkins, sadly, out of OSU.
Over Leatherwood?
Yeah, Leatherwood has injury things, and I think he's a center, I thought.
Nah, Leatherwood's a tackle.
Leatherwood's a tackle.
I still got Tevin. You and I hate OSU. I think Tevin's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, he's not a bad player. I mean, he makes sense. Yeah, Tennessee at 22 there. That's a good value pick for them as well.
Yeah.
Does that swing it back to me at 23?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Jets,
second pick in this year's
Jets, draft. You could have them taking anything on the board here because they are horrible, and they need everything on a football field essentially. We already got their quarterback in the future in Wilson. We at 2. His receivers aren't great, but I don't think they reach here in the first and take Rashad or whoever's left as far as receivers go. I think they end up going defense. They got Robert Saleh from San Francisco, defensive-minded guy. They've got a terrible secondary. I've got them going Eric Stokes, corner out of Georgia.
Ew.
I think it makes sense.
Eric Stokes ran like a 4.25. I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the dude's got he's obviously he's fast as hell, like you just mentioned. I think he play a little bit of zone, a little bit of man. I don't know exactly the kind of defense Robert Saleh wants to run, but I think he's a guy who fits. I think he's a guy who fits in there.
Yeah, I think Stokes and Asante Samuel Jr. are going to be 2 corners that could get over Caleb Farley this year because of his injury concerns, and like you said, with their new head coach in New York, defense seems to make the most sense with that second first round pick.
They need a lot. Najee Harris there, I thought also would have made sense. I don't think they love Rondale Moore enough to take him in the first. Mm-hmm. Tylan Wallace is not a first round pick. That guy might go to the 5th or 6th. He's dog shit. But yeah, who's that? We'll move to 24.
I'm surprised Trayvon Moorig's still available.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Since you did not take Najee Harris with 23 of the Jets, I do have the Steelers because their running back room is absolutely doo-doo dog cheeks. So Najee Harris, 24 to the Steelers.
Definitely.
They lost Connor to Arizona. Obviously, he's in your backyard now. Who is their current starter at running back? Does anybody even know?
Benny Snell.
Benny Snell.
Oh, then that pick makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
they 24.
They need a running back. I think whatever running back they decide to take, I think Najee's the best one in this draft, but they might go with Travis Etienne. Whatever running back they want to take at 24. I think this is probably the first draft in a long time where it's not a running back at the level of Saquon or Adrian Peterson where you want to trade up to get someone like that, but they need to take a guy that can run the ball in the first round to keep up.
Harris. You got Harris, Etienne, and Williams out of North Carolina. I think that all three of those players are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But Harris, obviously, Harris the best one available.
Definitely. All right. So Jacksonville, second pick in the first round this year. All right. Starting to get a little tough. They also kind of need everything. Their defense is pretty good. I'm going to take the safety out of TCU, Morig. He's obviously the best safety available at this point to help out that defense.
So, I mean, that one to me is interesting. I agree they need help defensively, but, they just drafted their quarterback of the future. I think they have a pretty terrible offensive line. You like Riggs here over an Alex Leatherwood who's still on the board, or you one of those top linemen?
Yeah, I don't think I think they'll definitely take linemen in the coming rounds, but I think they are going to just take best player available on the defensive side of the ball right now. They still have DJ Chark. They still have
Dede
Cole. They have Dede Westbrook. James Robinson is their running back. And James Robinson had a good year last year. So it's not like their offensive line is complete trash. They can definitely improve it, but I think their defense needs more help right now.
I do getting another lineman in the second round, though. I do see a lot slipping.
Oh, yeah. All right. So with the 26 overall pick, the Cleveland Browns select.
Brandon took my pick earlier in the draft. I've been wanting Zaven Collins all year. And since he decided to take him, I'm going to have to settle with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Who?
Out of Notre Dame.
Okay.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
That, to me, is the next best linebacker available outside of Zaven. And Malcolm Smith, old, talkie is not for the future, so I got John.
And Cleveland's a team at this point that doesn't really need anything. They're just improving upon what they have, and I think Jeremiah is just the only thing at this point that their linebackers aren't anything amazing, so they need to address linebacker and corner.
If Trevor Morg was going to slip, that's where I was going to take at 26, but I'm fine with Jock at 26.
For sure. All right. The Baltimore Ravens, 27. Were they taking, Jerry?
Ravens' offseason loss, probably going to mess his name up, but Yannick Ngakoue and Matthew Judon this offseason, so I have to get the best D lineman available. I think they'll go with, probably mess his name also, but the Azeez Ojulari guy from Georgia.
Yeah.
To replace him.
Is Christian Barmore still on the board?
Yeah.
He is still on the board.
I thought you were going to take him. Yeah, he's still on our board.
They don't need inside defense. They got, what's his face? The white dude that was on the Broncos a couple years ago.
Derek Wolfe.
Yeah, and Calais.
Yeah.
No, it's I agree. I think that Elijah.
I agree.
I thought Jasai was going to take him to Cleveland. As a pass rusher.
I was going to take Christian Barmore. No, we just signed Boo Boo Butt, Jadeveon for more edge rushers, and I know we just lost Sheldon Richardson, but I still say we need more linebacker core help.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they'll be able to stop the run with Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett on the edge, so they don't need to be too concerned about a D tackle at this point in the draft. Brandon, the New Orleans Saints. Who do you got them taking at this point?
Saints. They scored the ball a little bit. They lost Drew Brees. I don't see them addressing that right here at 28. I think they're going to roll with Jameis. They'll eventually draft his replacement, or maybe not his replacement, but someone, to push him for the spot. I don't really see them going offense either. I don't really know what their defense is looking like. I don't think it was great last year.
Corner.
Joseph Asai, DN Texas.
Bro, she picked 2 Texas players.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't. Who else?
You picked
Yeah.
No, he did not.
No, you didn't.
I thought
he's a guy that you can get after the passer. You can he makes plays downfield a little bit. I think he fits well for the Saints.
Yeah, definitely. And they're another team that doesn't need anything. They just need to start planning for the future. Their team's still pretty good at this point. I know they cut a good amount of players, but they'll be able to replace them in coming free agency or later in the draft. So with the 29 overall pick, the Green Bay Packers, and my last pick in our mock draft today, I'm going to take Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Obviously,
I like the pick over Tony of Florida.
Oh,
yes.
I would take Bateman over.
I think Bateman might, at the end of their rookie season, Rashad Bateman might compete for the best rookie wide receiver in this class. And obviously being with Aaron Rodgers is going to just help that even more. So I think it makes the most sense. And obviously with last year, their front office completely ignored improving that offense. I think this year they don't have a choice but to get a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. So hopefully I think Rashad Bateman is what makes.
I was gonna say, I think Packer fans would love the pick because, like you just said, they just for years ignored that receiver position and kind of let Aaron Rodgers throw to, not bad receivers, but he doesn't really have, a true number. I mean, Devontae Adams, never mind. But outside of Adams, he's throwing to,
Allen Lazard,
Scandling, and people like that who aren't that great.
It's a rotation. I think that's the issue with the Packers receiving core. You've got Devontae Adams and just number 2 and 3 are a rotation. And I think they just need someone that's going to be more steady. And I think Rashad Bateman's going to be that guy to help them out and stabilize the receiving room. All right. So with the 30th overall pick, Jerry, who do the Bills take in the first round?
The Bills both also lost a lot of their edge rushers with Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison leaving. So I think they're just going to go a project defensive end and Jason Owe from Penn State, just try to make him something good. Just the defensive line kind of is weak right now after Phillips and Rousseau and all them gone. So they have to go him.
Why not Ronnie Perkins? Why not an Oklahoma brother? I would have taken Ronnie Perkins at that point, but I think both of them have similar expectations right now. Obviously, like I said earlier, there's no defensive guy that's really stood out. So Jason Owe and Ronnie Perkins are kind of similar players at this point, but there was no going wrong there with either one of the guys. I just would have taken Ronnie over Jason.
See, I would have had them at this point. I mean, I like the Owe pick. I like Penn State a lot, but Perkins would have been cool too. They're another team kind of like the Packers as far as, they've got Stephon Diggs, who's terrific. And outside of him, another
Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley's I think Tony would have been the pick if I were picking there.
Yeah, but I could see it. I just don't know what needs they really have. So really would have been any project, I guess. So let's go with 31. Brandon, who do the Ravens have after trading up back in the first round, getting rid of Zeus, Orlando Brown,
I forgot the Ravens are there.
And that's how they got back into the first round to get a second pick.
They did. They gave up Zeus to the Chiefs. So why not replace Orlando Brown with I wrote it all. Yeah, he's Alex Leatherwood, falling all the way to 31.
I know Alex Leatherwood was going to be in last year's draft, who would have declared probably would have been one of the best offensive lineman prospects. So
like you
why
said,
not take a shot at this point?
Just got rid of Zeus. Why not replace him? Alex Leatherwood, probably the best available tackle.
Yeah.
Alex Leatherwood.
Good pick right there. I think that's I think that could actually happen in real life, especially with how our draft board is turning out. All right. So 32 overall, Jasai. Who were the Bucs taking to help out Tom Brady win just another ring?
Just another ring. My pick was Alex Leatherwood, but I don't know if I'm leaning more towards the tackle or a receiver, since they do lose AB, and the receiving room isn't as strong.
And it's still pretty nasty.
It's still nasty with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but
Are you thinking Rondale Moore?
I'm leaning either. I don't know. This is tricky.
Why not like a Jalen Mayfield type?
No,
I'm leaning towards Terrence Marshall or the tackle Walker Little out of Stanford.
So who are we getting here, bud?
I think I'm gonna. They did take an offensive lineman last year. I think they're gonna go with Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore. Yeah, I remember that guy had a lot of hype after his freshman year in Purdue, and obviously he fell off afterward. So he'll just be their number 3 or 4 receiver at the end of the day, since they still have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I think he will rotate with Scotty Miller, the
speedster slots.
Speedster.
We have four receivers going first round in our mock here. That is
insane.
Yeah.
2 I think are safe. I mean, 2. I said
Elijah Moore.
Or 3. No, we have 5. Yeah, we have 5. We have Pitts, Waddle Smith, Moore, Bateman.
Yeah.
The first 3, Pitts, Waddle Smith. I mean, that I think it's a lock.
I think those guys are guaranteed.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Moore and Bateman get their way into the first, but we'll see.
For sure.
I do see Bateman.
Cool. Well, I appreciate everyone for walking through this with us. Hopefully this is going to be the most accurate mock draft out there, but we'll see how everything turns out. Tune in.
With the trades, that's what's going to,
the trades are going to be,
trades are going to tear it up,
but we'll see how everything goes. Thanks everyone for watching. Like I said at the beginning, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.